Good evening and welcome to Newshour Agenda. I'm Madhavdas Gopalkrishnan. Ladies and gentlemen, without a week to go for the first phase of the Lok Sabha polls, Prime Minister Modi brings out all guns blazing against the opposition. During Navratri, he pulls out the Hindu card and attacks the India alliance partners for eating meat during the Sawan month, when Hindus usually avoid eating meat and even posting it on social media. The Prime Minister made references to videos of Lalu and Rahul Gandhi cooking mutton, allegedly last Sawan, and Tejaswi eating fish. The Prime Minister said that this shows the Mughal-like minds of the opposition, which mocks the sentiments of Hindus in this pious month. He's also said that the law doesn't bar people from eating non-veg, but they shouldn't do it to hurt the astha of Hindus like the opposition is doing. Listen in to the blistering attack.
ये लोग सावन में एक सजायाफ्ता जो सजा कोर्ट ने जिसको सजा की है, जो जमानत पर है, ऐसे एक मुजरिम के घर जाके सावन के महीने में मटन बनाने का मौज ले रहे हैं। जब सब मुगल यहां आक्रमण करते थे ना, तो उनको सत्ता राजा को पराजित करने से संतोष नहीं होता था। जब तक मंदिर तोड़ते नहीं थे, जब तक श्रद्धा स्थानों की कत्ल नहीं करते थे, उनको संतोष नहीं होता था। वैसे ही सावन के महीने में वीडियो दिखाकर वो मुगल के लोगों के जमाने की जो मानसिकता है ना, उसके द्वारा वो देश के लोगों को चिढ़ाना चाहते हैं। नवरात्र के दिनों में अपना नॉनवेज खाना अब किस मनसा से वीडियो दिखा करके लोगों की भावनाओं को चोट पहुंचा करके किसको खुश करने का खेल कर रहे हो?
Let's remind you of the video that the Prime Minister seems to be referring to. This video of Tejaswi went viral, where he can be seen eating fish. However, he clarified that this video was before Navratras.
आप सब लोग अभी देख रहे हैं कि हम लोग अभी मुकेश सहनी जी के साथ हैं और पूरा दिन भर हम लोग प्रचार किए हैं, और प्रचार करने के बाद हम लोगों को ये 10-15 मिनट मिला है जो हम लोग लंच कर सके। तो आज मुकेश जी जो है खाना लाए हैं, लंच में मछली लाए हैं और बहुत ही स्वादिष्ट मछली है। एक कांटे का मछली है, साथ में रोटी है, नमक है, प्याज है और हरी मिर्ची है। तो यही मौका मिलता है जब हम लोग जो है 10-15 मिनट का खाना जो है खा सके, और पूरे दिन भर से हम लोग प्रचार में लगे रहते हैं।
Tejaswi and his party say that this is a needless issue and that the Prime Minister is deflecting from the real issues of jobs, education and health. Listen into the war of words.
हम क्या क्या बोल रहे हैं कब से, नौकरी के बारे में, रोजगार के बारे में, महंगाई के बारे में, उसका तो हिसाब नहीं दे रहे। कौन सी बातें करें, प्रधानमंत्री जी कुछ भी बोले, लेकिन जनता तो यही सुनना चाहती है ना, बिहार के लोगों के लिए क्या किया। हम भाई हिसाब मांग रहे हैं कि आपने 10 साल में बिहार के लिए क्या किया है, 10 साल का हिसाब दे प्रधानमंत्री, और कुछ नहीं। इधर उधर की बात ना करें, मुद्दे की बात करें प्रधानमंत्री।
श्री जी को नवरात्र में मछली खाने का भी विवाद हो गया, मछली वो खा रहे थे हेलीकॉप्टर में नवरात्र के समय।
देखिए, तेजस्वी ने खुद इस पे अपना क्लेरिफिकेशन दिया कि उसने नवरात्र में मछली नहीं खाया था।
तेजस्वी जी तो सबसे ज्यादा नौकरी पे बात कर रहे हैं प्रधानमंत्री जी, वहाँ क्यों चुप हैं आप? मछली आपको दिख रही है, जाहिर तौर पर ये डाइग्रेशन टेक्निक नहीं चलेगी। कम से कम आपसे अपेक्षा नहीं थी प्रधानमंत्री जी, आप देश के प्रधानमंत्री हैं।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
For more on this, we have our guest joining us. Gopal Krishna Agarwal is national spokesperson of the BJP. Karan Verma is author. Joining us with us also is Rahul Ishwar, activist. Sanjay Jha, author, is with us. Advocate Kapil Madan, political analyst, also joins us. Priyanka Bharti, of national spokesperson of RJD, is also with us. Let me start with you first and foremost, Priyanka Bharti. Prime Minister कह रहे हैं कि this is a mocking of the people of the country and strengthening of the vote bank. He says it's reflective of a Mughal mindset. Your response to what the Prime Minister says?
As you yourself said, Madhavji, that PM Modi is trying to pull out Hindu card and he's deflecting from the core issues of this nation. I have just a basic, simple question from him. When he came to Bihar last time in 2014, he said, I'm just quoting his words, "Agli baar mein aaya, to main Nevada ke hi चीनी मिल को खुलवा के वहीं की चीनी से चाय पीऊंगा." It has been 10 years since that chini mill, sugar mill hasn't opened till now. Our issues are what has Bihar gave them 39 MPs. But what Mr. Modi and what central government gave to Bihar? They gave us unemployment. They gave us poor status. Where is the special status demand of Bihar? So they are trying to deflect the core issues and taking it back to Mughals. You are taking it back to Mughals. And when I start taking you back to 5,000 years, you will be quiet. You will not be able to answer why you are targeting people's choice of eating what they want. And you saw that video was from 8/8. Navratra shuru hua tha kya? It didn't start, but they don't have any issues. They'll go to Sanatan, they'll go to temple, they'll talk about all baseless issues which should not be raised into politics of India. What people demand, what youngsters demand, they demand employment.
Okay, but
so core issues.
But the counter from the BJP, all right, let in fact Gopal Krishna Agarwal come in, but I believe that video was posted during Navratra. But Gopal Krishna Agarwal, please respond to what is being stated here by Priyanka Bharti. She says that you're taking the issue, you're diverting from the core issues of jobs, unemployment, etc., which is really what the people want the narrative to be about. Please respond, Gopal Krishna Agarwal.
Madhav, the core issue in the country is about corruption, the national pride. The way the majority of the country are undermined under the name of pseudo-secularism. These are the core issue. When in the everywhere what is happening is the opposition themselves, what Udaynidhi Mara said about Sanatan Dharma, what Priyanku Khadke said about Sanatan Dharma, Hindu Dharma, they have been questioning and they have been undermining the majority, and they are doing it with a purpose to get the vote bank of one particular community, and they are trying to undermine the majority of the country, the religion of the country, and even they are not allowing the growth and development of the country. If you look into the last 10 years, how Prime Minister Modi ji has been working for the economic development of the country. What he said in Rajasthan today, if the Congress had allowed the airport to be constructed in Barmer, it would have come up. They are blocking the development of the country. At the time of COVID, during the COVID, they said we will not take the vaccinations. Every time they have been undermining the growth potential at the international forum, undermining India's growth story, they are talking about so many issues. The issue when the Prime Minister brings out a particular video, which video was posted by the opposition party, he is saying about the way at the time of Ram Temple, the inauguration, they did not go.
Okay. Let me bring in Sanjay Jha on that. Sanjay Jha, there's a deliberate pattern, whether you're talking about the statements against Sanatan Dharma, whether you talk about the Ram Mandir Pran Pratishtha, or even the recent statements that Mr. Rahul Gandhi gave surrounding Shakti. Every time the BJP says that these are deliberate attempts by the Congress and other opposition parties to denigrate Hindus, Hindu customs, all for appeasement. Please respond to that charge. Sanjay Jha.
Madhav, I find it a little amusing, very astonishing that the BJP has been in government for the last 10 years, but if development hasn't happened, it's because the opposition is to be blamed for obstructing it. Thank you very much. It's like, for example, all of us are to be blamed because we are trying to stop you right now from anchoring, Madhav. I mean, how absurd and atrocious is this conversation? Let me just tell my friend Mr. Gopal Agarwal that, you know, the 4 top issues in the minds of Indians, Agarwal ji, based on the CSDS survey, unemployment is number 1, price rise is number 2, development is number 3, and I agree with you, corruption is number 4. Between the four, they occupy 71% of the average citizen's problems. And you're completely right. After the electoral bond expose, where you're extorting money in hafta vasuli like an underworld mafia organization, corruption is a big issue. Where you're giving contracts on infrastructure projects where the tunnels are collapsing, the bridges are breaking down, Sarji, you're absolutely right. Corruption is a big problem. For the first time in my entire political career, I'm agreeing with the BJP spokesperson with all humility. So here is my simple answer that, Mr. Modi's polarization trick is not working. Madhav, let me tell you, Mr. Modi believed that after the Pran Pratishtha on January 22nd, this election was done and dusted. But then he discovered that the reality of India is extremely depressing, demoralizing, because the poor are getting poorer, the middle class has got pauperized, the farmers are on the road, the demographic dividend story of the young has been destroyed.
Okay.
And Mr. Modi's government is the most corrupt, criminal and communal
let me bring in Karan on that. I want to take quick opening comments from everyone. Karan Verma, I want you to respond to that. That it's basically a diversion from what Sanjay Jha calls the misgovernance by the Modi government in the past 10 years. You can't put the blame at the doorstep of the opposition when you've been in power for 10 years is the thrust of his argument.
I guess my friend Sanjay, when he was talking about misgovernance, he was talking about what happened in Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh, where Congress was voted out, where inflation was the highest, crime against women was the highest, and unemployment was the highest, by the way, in Rajasthan. And perhaps he's talking about Karnataka, which is in doldrums ever since Congress has taken over in terms of law and order and the water supply issues. So I guess he was talking about that. Because at the moment, right now, Mr. Modi has a lot to talk about. In fact, in this speech also, he talked about the various development programs, and I can go on. That's a laundry list, big list. Whether it's gas connections, water connections, 10 crore gas connections, 12 crore water connections. And Sanjay very well knows about these things. He might feign ignorance about it, but he knows the kind of impact we've seen at the ground because of his social welfare schemes. But Madhav, the point here is, when Tejasvi today to ANI, he said, and I'm quoting, हमने जान के इनको मिर्ची लगाने के लिए कहा था, इनका IQ चेक करना था. अब तेजस्वी खुद कह रहे हैं कि मैंने ये जान के कहा था. There was a deliberate design to this. इनको मिर्ची लगानी थी. So here is a man who wants to stir up the pot. He wanted to actually hurt the Hindu sentiments because he doesn't care about them.
Yeah, I saw that comment, but I believe it came from Mukesh Sahni of the VIP. And in fact, let me get a quick response from Priyanka on that. Priyanka?
No. It came from Tejasvi.
Okay. Is that a comment that came from Tejasvi?
Has said these words. हमने इनको जान के मिर्ची लगाने के लिए कहा है.
जान के मिर्ची लगाने के लिए किया है. Is that correct, Priyanka Bharti?
So, these are exact words of Tejasvi today.
Okay, let me speak first. These people will not focus on other rallies of Tejasvi Prasad Yadav, where he brings on the issues of unemployment, MSP, corruption.
Ma'am, these words or not? Simple question. Are you confirming or denying whether he used these words? I'm giving you a chance to clarify.
By him, his ancestors, perhaps.
आपको सिर्फ ऐसी थाली क्यों नजर आती है नेताओं की थाली पर, उन गरीबों की थाली नहीं नजर आती है?
Ma'am, बोला है या नहीं बोला है? Yes or no? Simple question, ma'am. I'm coming to you in the middle of the debate. Others have not yet spoken. I'm coming to you. Has he said this?
Yes, he was checking the IQ level of BJP people who couldn't even manage or bother to check the date of that video, and this hence proved that BJP people have negative IQ level.
So, ma'am, but they will also come out and say, what is the need to post it during Navratri? If it was shot before Navratri, why post it at that time is what they will say then.
I don't know why these people, BJP Manu people, are targeting a person from EBC community. You saw who was sitting with Tejasvi Prasad Yadav. That was Mukesh Sahni. He comes from Malla community. And Malla community क्या करता है? ये फिशरी का कारोबार कौन लोग करते हैं? It's the Malla community which does that. जब आप लोगों को रोजगार नहीं दे रहे हैं, बेरोजगारी के कगार पर लाके खड़ा कर रहे हैं, ILO का रिपोर्ट आपका बता रहा है कि 87% जो लोग हैं, युवा जो बेरोजगार है, करने को मजबूर है. हम मछली दिखा रहे हैं कि कुछ तो करने दो इन लोगों को. आप तो वो भी हमारे हाथ में नहीं दे रहे हैं.
Okay. Karan, you want to quickly rebut that? You want to respond to that?
No. It is a bunch of lies, Madhav. And look at the language. आप मनु लोग कास्ट का कलर लाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. They are desperate to divide. You look at her language. It is desperate to divide. First of all, you don't represent any caste. You are not some torch bearer of any caste. Neither is Tejasvi some torch bearer. So don't try to, vitiate the atmosphere and try to divide on upper, lower, caste, ये सब मत करिए. Unemployment पे आपका क्या record है? You have the worst record on Jungle Raj. You of all people should not be talking about law and order and unemployment. You have the worst record. Please. आप इस पे ज्ञान मत दीजिए. आप जाइए लोगों को बांटने का काम करिए, वही कर सकते हैं आप.
बांटने का काम आपका है, वो आपको शोभा देता है. हम बेरोजगारी पे बोल रहे हैं, चंदा चोरी पे बोल रहे हैं, पर आप चंदा चोरी पे बोल.
Okay. Let me come in now. Let me quickly bring in other panelists as well. In fact, we have Kapil Madan also with us. Yeah.
आप चारा चोरी पे बोलिए, वो आपकी महारत है.
Okay. Let's not get into a personal slagging match, please. Let's not get into a personal slagging match. I'm requesting both of you to please calm down. Let me go across to other panelists who've not yet spoken. Kapil Madan, question that many are asking is this. They're seeing a pattern. You would have heard Gopal Agarwal earlier. He says that first Sanatan is called dengue. Then you have, fighting against Shakti comment coming in from Mr. Rahul Gandhi. Is this all part of a deliberate ploy?
So, Madhav, I find it, extremely irrational, our Honorable Prime Minister commenting on the food choice of individuals. So I ask a question, to myself, and perhaps if Prime Minister really wants to check
doubt. One second. Let me just a minute. Let me just clarify. I have to clarify this. Nobody is debating the food choices. Nobody is controlling the food choices. The Prime Minister himself is saying that it is about posting on social media and insulting. It is not about anybody's eating choices. Everyone has the right to legally eat whatever they want. Please carry on. Yeah, I'm just clarifying the point that we are debating food choices. That's not what we're debating.
Madhav, my only point is, if the food is an issue, then in that situation, every member of parliament should give an affidavit. There should be a disclosure. Then, who is a vegetarian and who is a non-vegetarian. And perhaps you make this as a precondition that a person should disclose his food habit once he's contesting election. I mean, can this be the subject matter of any public discourse? And I'm extremely, pained to, hear the comments that were made. I will tell you, there are reports that suggest more than 50% of the population in the country eats non-vegetarian food. So what the Prime Minister then, means to say, all of them are, anti-Sanatan, all of them are, anti-Hindu. This can't be the logic. And in fact, there are considerable number of Hindu population, that eats non-vegetarian food. That's the reason why I think our Honorable Prime Minister does not understand that, India has, rich, diverse culture, and people come from different cultural background, and every culture has its own set of traditions, custom, eating habits, foods, etc.
Yeah.
And to make a comment on someone who is eating what is I think it's
okay. Gopal Agarwal, you want to comment on that? Because there are those who say that a good percentage, not just 50, but over 83% of those, according to... One second, just calm down. Kapil Madan, calm down. I'm asking the question that you have raised. According to the National Family Health Survey of 2022, 83.4% of men and 70.6% of women in the age group of 15 to 49 consume non-vegetarian food either daily, weekly or occasionally. And this is a good percentage of the number of non-vegetarians in the country. The question that he's asking is it against them? Yeah, Rahul Ishwar, I see your hand will come to you. Gopal Agarwal.
Madhav, if you say that this is what people are eating, then it is trivializing the main issue. The issue is, this is the symptom of the mindset which the Prime Minister has said. The mindset of when Priyanka Khadge says that Hinduism is a disease. That is the mindset. When we will finish, Rahul Gandhi says about Shakti, that is the mindset. It is the culmination and why they have said, why they are saying this, why they can eat whatever they want. Showing that video and teasing and it's a culmination of several statements by the opposition leaders and their actions on the ground. One thing. Second is, Madhav, when we are talking, what Prime Minister has done in last 10 years, we were in the fragile 11th ranking economy in the world. Now we are the 5th. The Prime Minister is giving a roadmap to bring the economy to the 3rd position. The airports, which more than 75 airports have been built in these last 10 years.
Okay.
And now we are targeting more than 300 airports.
Okay.
The infrastructure, roads, which were being constructed at 11 kilometers per day.
Okay.
Now it is around 39 kilometers per day of roads is constructed.
Right.
Bridges, airports, railways, the economic development. We are the fastest growing economy. We are attracting the highest FDI from the world.
Okay.
The global image of India is such a shining, such a
quick response of Sanjay Jha, Rahul Ishwar.
People are
Rahul Ishwar, thank you for your patience, sir.
Platforms, India.
Yeah. Gopal
so
Agarwal,
these
please.
are the issues that we are working on.
Yeah.
And now the Congress and opposition, they are talking and doing trivial things and want to vitiate the whole atmosphere of division.
Sanjay Jha.
Undermining.
I got your point, sir. Sanjay Jha, quick response, please. Quick response.
Madhav, what a tragedy that the Prime Minister of the world's largest democracy is reduced to saying, are you eating a pomfret or a prawn, when India is suffering from a demographic dividend destruction, when farmers are protesting, he has no time. He has no time to visit Manipur. He has no time to apologize to the wrestler champions of India who had cases of sexual harassment against a BJP leader. He had no time to apologize to Bilkis Banu, whose rapists were released.
Okay.
He has no time to apologize to the MSME business that was destroyed on account of demonetization, but he's worried about whether you're eating prawn or pomfret.
Okay.
I mean, is this the standard of the...
Okay, I want Rahul Ishwar to come in on this. Rahul Ishwar, is that what's happening here? Is that what's happening here? Yeah.
Madhavji, please remember, there is only one submission. It is not about eating or not eating anything. It is about purposeful cultural insensitivity towards the Hindu community. Anybody can eat non-veg. That is not the point. But in a holy occasion where majority of Hindus don't have non-veg, there are people who does this to purposefully provoke Hindu community, tease Hindu community, create a controversy, create some kind of emotional rupture. In the holy month of Eid, I personally take as a Hindu activist Ramadan fast for 1 or 2 days in solidarity to our Muslim brothers. That's to show some kind of a solidarity. I don't do some kind of a feasting when our Muslim brothers are fasting and say that this is my right. This is a cultural sensitivity we show towards our harmony of the nation. At the same point of time, Hindu community has certain kind of observations during some holy festivals, and these people purposefully either do eat beef or either do any kind of non-veg and take videos, put photos. They know that this is going to tease, this is going to provoke, this is going to irritate. This is an immature strategy that they should not do. Show solidarity, show harmony with our Christian brothers or Muslim brothers, but don't treat Hindus as some kind of people who can be provoked and shown insensitivity. So the core submission is this. The point is not to eat anything, but the point is of showing purposeful cultural insensitivity. That cultural insensitivity that is purposefully shown is something very, very unfortunate. It is just to needle people. It is just to provoke people. That should not be done. And this is the action that they are doing, and Prime Minister is responding to it.
Okay.
If you don't want Prime Minister to respond, let them not do it. And let them show sensitivity and respect.
Okay. Sanjay Jha, this is purposely insulting people. Please respond to that very deliberate insult charge.
All that has been said is a repugnant lie and a disgusting attempt at distortion to suit Narendra Modi's Hindutva narrative. I'll tell you why.
So sentiment should not be respected?
Any political party...
How can you say sentiment should not be respected, Sanjay Jha?
Madhav, just listen. Let me put it in a very simple arithmetic example. India's population has got 80% Hindus and 20% minorities, of which 14% are Muslims. You think anybody can win an election by trying to please 14% of the population and ignore 80%? It's a mathematical, actually, impossibility. It's ridiculous. So this man, one minute, I didn't interrupt you. I did not interrupt you, Ishwarji. Please do not interrupt me. So here is an attempt to try and use words like cultural insensitivity. For God's sake, as you rightly said, Madhav, yourself, Indians have a right to food to choice. 80% of Indians are non-vegetarian.
So you're saying any kind of minority appeasement charge is a myth. According to you, any kind of minority appeasement charge is a myth. Gopal Agarwal, you want to respond to that?
It's an absolute bogus rubbish.
Let him respond, sir. You've said
what is a myth you have done on the ground? Why Sanjay Jha is not answering about Udayanidhi Stalin when he talks about Sanatan Dharma as a dengue and malaria? When Priyanka Kharke said Hindu is a disease, Hinduism is a disease, why don't you respond to that point of time? Why you keep shut at that point of time? This is not the end. This is not the end. This is the way you have been undermining. Why lakhs and lakhs of people had to fight for a Ram temple in India? Why they had to lose their life for that? Why you did not go for the inauguration of the Ram temple? Prime Minister said that Ram temple is never a BJP political agenda. It was after culmination of 500 of struggle by the Hinduism. Why don't you take care of that feeling? And you have been doing minority appeasement politics for last 60 years. Why don't you answer about Shah Bano? Why you reversed that Shah Bano case? Why the triple talaq was not appreciated? Why triple talaq was not appreciated? Tell us. These are the issues, core issues why people are angry with you.
Okay.
And you have to answer them.
Okay. One by one, please. One by one.
Clear-cut design. Yeah. Clear-cut design to undermine.
Calm down.
Yeah.
Mindset.
Sanjay Jha, quick response. Quick response. I have a question for Rahul Ishwar after this. Yes.
Gopal ji, jara dusro ko suniye. You can please be the custodian of Hindutva. Hinduism is much greater than your Hindutva.
Okay, on that note,
Stop interrupting me when I talk, Gopal Agarwal. Gopal Agarwal, don't interrupt, be a good boy. This is not good behavior. Be a custodian of Hindutva.
Calm down. Yeah. Sanjay Jha, let me come in now. I have a question for Rahul Ishwar. Rahul Ishwar, you know, it's very easy to say don't offend the sentiments of others. Don't offend the sentiments of Hindus, Muslims, Christians, etc. That's an argument that can be made. And of course, in a democratic country, everyone has the right to carry out their own practices. And who's to say or who's to judge what is a good Hindu practice when there is non-vegetarian food that is served as offering in several temples? There's fish and mutton served in Vimla Devi temple. There is mutton served in the Tarkula Devi temple in Uttar Pradesh. There's fish and toddy served in the Parashinic Kadava temple in Kerala. Meat in Kalighat. Just 1 second, allow me to complete. Kamakhya has fish and meat that is served. Tarapet, Dakshineshwar are other examples of temples, Hindu temples, where non-vegetarian food is the offering. So the practice of Hinduism itself varies so much, Rahul Ishwar, that who's to justify or judge what is correct and not correct?
Madhavji, there is no doubt, and we should celebrate our diversity. As you know, from Kerala itself, the Kerala has Shaktiya practices or Devi practices that offer such diversity. We should respect that. Having said that, there is only one thing. Where a normal Hindu like me offended, I'm not a Hindutwadi per se, and a normal Hindu like me offended. See, when they say that Sanatana should be destroyed, it is dengue and malaria. People like Sanjay Jha, whom I greatly respect, they don't say a word. Rahul Gandhi, who claims himself to be a Brahmin, doesn't respond. He should at least say, I talked to Udayanidhi Stalin saying that this is wrong. He's like my younger brother. So there is a context to it. There is a paradigm to it. There is a history to it. So when those people are ending up teasing, they know normally a Hindu in me will feel offended. Just like a Sattvi Prachi, any comment about Muslims, will make them feel offended. So there is a history and context. When A. Raja does this, when A. Raja calls out people like me or calls like Hindu community, cancer, dengue, malaria to be eradicated, and when they say or when they do things like this, naturally we will be offended, right? That's the reason why I request Sanjay Jha to condemn the comments by these people who have a context. I hope Sri Rahul Gandhi, who is the great grandson of Nehruji and grandson of Indiraji, will condemn or at least alienate, saying that these are not good for us. So when we don't even hear such a condemnation or stand from them, and they go to temples, and when their allies do this, a normal Hindu believer will feel offended. Is that not natural? So please don't miss context.
Okay. Sanjay Jha, Kapil Madan, both of course in a position to respond. Kapil Madan, I want you to come in on this. Why aren't we seeing more leaders come out and condemn this?
So Madhav, I'll say it unequivocally. I find this even, irrational to respond to this stupidity, because Mr. Ishwar now is saying that, the non-vegetarian food which you mentioned is served as a, offering at different temples, that should be celebrated. But if an individual is, eating, non-vegetarian food, that should be condemned. So I think that's illogical beyond all kind of comprehension. And I don't know what kind of, argument he was trying to make. He is contradicting his own self. And my friend, Sanjay ji, very categorically says that, it's Hinduism is much beyond, it's much bigger, it's much rich and much diverse than, what the panelists are trying to, say here. To say that if someone is eating a non-vegetarian food, then he is getting offended. Hinduism, what we understand is, if the real Sanatani does not get affected by anything that is happening in his life, or what the other person is doing. I mean, I mean, a real practitioner of Sanatan Dharma does not identify himself with his own
tolerance
body.
is the cornerstone of Sanatan Dharma. Karan Verma, respond to that. Why are we being intolerant?
Can I make a point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it for me, Madhav?
Yes, Karan, question for you. Yeah. Taking off from what Kapil is saying.
Yeah. No, Kapil makes a valid point, but I'll just tell him two instances where the High Court had to say that do not unnecessarily offend religious sentiments. There was a beef festival organized in JNU, Jawaharlal Nehru University, and it had to be cancelled by no less than the High Court saying that you are unnecessarily offending sentiments. Youth Congress workers slaughtered a calf in the markets in Kerala. And their argument was that, it is a part of the staple diet. And the High Court came down heavily and said, you have no business to unnecessarily offend sentiments. The optics matter. That is the limited point here. Nobody is questioning your right to consume veg or non-veg, but optics do matter. Why do you want to flaunt and, show this on social media the way you want to when there are thousands and millions of people who are fasting? I'm sure two very civilized individuals we have on the panel, Mr. Sanjay Jha and Kapil, they would never resort to such an act. All I'm saying is that optics matter, sentiments matter. They should have probably avoided doing this.
Respect and tolerance is a two-way street. I think at the end of this debate, that's one thing that we can surmise. Respect and tolerance of all is, I think, ultimately the cornerstone. And certainly, of course, either which way you look at it, that's the message that comes out of this entire debate. I'd like to thank all our panelists for joining us. Karan Verma as well as Rahul Ishwar, Sanjay Jha, Kapil Madan and Gopal Krishna Agarwal, of course, stay with us. And of course, Priyanka Bharti, thanks so much for joining us this evening.